Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to review this presentation and learn more about long-range planning in Nashville. I'm Gene Burse with the Metro Planning Department. This presentation is part of the Planning Department's Long-Range Planning Program. The Metro Planning Department has a variety of functions. These functions include working with communities to develop land use policies, transportation priorities, and make recommendations to the Planning Commission on zoning decisions, among many other functions. The Planning Department consists of 6 divisions. They are Community Design, Land Development, Mapping, Transportation, and Capital Improvement Budget Research, as well as GIS. I will now talk about Nashville Next. Nashville Next is the general plan for Metro government until the year 2040. Cities and communities make decisions about the future every day and in response to new opportunities or unexpected problems. A general plan like Nashville Next is one tool for helping to make these decisions. Nashville Next guides the physical development of the entire county. It was adopted by the Metro Planning Commission in 2015. Nashville Next is an evolving document that reflects elements of other Nashville-based plans such as In Motion, Walk and Bike, and Plan to Play. Nashville Next relied on community vision and input and local advice as well as guidance. Nearly 20,000 community members shared their thoughts and suggestions online and in person. There were over 400 meetings, briefings, events, and public conversations during the creation of the plan. Nashville Next consists of 7 elements that seek to coordinate capital improvements, land development regulations, and metro activities. Each element is supplemented by goals, policies, and actions that expand on the vision to guide decision making. The 7 elements of the plan are arts, culture, and creativity, education and youth, economic and workforce development, housing, land use, transportation, and infrastructure, health, livability, and the built environment, and natural resources and hazard adaptation. Nashville has 7 guiding principles which present the long-term view of what Nashvillians want for their future. Throughout the development of Nashville Next, the principles guided more detailed work, helping to ensure all key topics were addressed by the plan. They provide long-range context for why individual goals and policies are included in the plan. A major component of Nashville Next is the Growth and Preservation Concept Map. This map presents a conceptual vision for how Nashville intends to physically grow and develop until the year 2040. The map displays tiered areas of growth including centers and along our pikes and major roads. This map also shows areas of transition and infill that can accommodate a greater variety of housing. Areas of preservation include many of our established neighborhoods, rural areas, parks, and sensitive environmental features. Each year, the Planning Commission submits a list of recommended capital improvements to the mayor. As required by the Metro Charter, this list, known as the Capital Improvements Budget, or CIB, details improvements that are necessary or desirable to be constructed or provided during the next 6 years. The CIB is a planning tool to prioritize and coordinate investments in long-term, durable improvements. Investments are considered capital improvements when they have a lifetime greater than 10 years or when they cost more than $50,000. Capital improvements include metro facilities and equipment, as well as infrastructure. Metro planning is continually working to ensure that the capital improvements budget aligns with Nashville Next. I will now talk about community character policy, generally referred to as land use policy. Nashville is split up into 14 community plan areas that guide private development. Community plans were developed in the 1980s to better address the specific needs and visions of communities in Nashville. Community plans are continually updated, typically in the form of changes in land use policy. Each community plan document includes a variety of information such as community description, history of the community, growth and preservation concept map and the community's role, community character policies, and development scenarios. The Transect is a planning tool used to define the existing physical development of Nashville into a series of zones that transition from natural and rural to very urban and dense. Each area in Nashville belongs to one of 6 Transect categories that are natural, rural, suburban, urban, center, and downtown. The Community Character Manual is the dictionary of policies and the foundation of the community planning process. It provides direction for the implementation of tools such as zoning. Each Community Character Manual land use policy describes intent, characteristics, how policy should be applied, design principles, building form and site design, connectivity, and appropriate zoning districts. Community Character Manual land use policy is broken down by Transect category, community element, and intent or scale. In this example on the screen, you can see the Transect category is T for urban, the community element is neighborhood, and the intent or scale is maintenance. Supplemental policy is additional land use policy that expands upon guidance from the Community Character Manual land use policy. Supplemental policy provides an additional layer of policy detail and addresses unique needs in individual, often smaller areas. Supplemental policy is applied when community character policy does not provide detail necessary to meet community needs. Two of the most significant items metro planning helps to impact are land use policy and zoning. These two items are sometimes viewed as the same thing and having the same impact. Land use policy and zoning are two different tools that impact communities. Land use policy is the vision for how a community wants to develop over time. It is the vision for an area. Land use policy can change but requires the approval of Metro Planning Commission. Zoning is law that controls the physical development of land. Zoning states the types of land uses a property can have. Zoning controls the physical development of land, including building height, required parking spaces, landscaping, and setbacks. Zoning is an implementation tool for manifesting the desires of land use policy. I will now talk about the process to change land use policy. National Next is a living document and changes with the needs and will of the community. Due to this, changes are possible if an area has experienced significant change, the community's vision has changed, a property owner desires change, or there are ideas for development for property. Metro planning tries to understand the broader implications of individual property owner proposals. A typical policy change request is from a desire to change existing zoning on property to a zoning district that is compatible with the proposed development, because zoning and land use policy ideally will go hand in hand. Generally, the process begins with an initial consultation with the planning department before any application and fees to amend policy is formally submitted. After an application to amend policy has been submitted, it is then assigned to a member of planning staff. Most times, a community meeting is held to receive public input as part of the analysis phase of the application review. After analysis, the staff planner writes a staff report with the recommendation of approval or disapproval for the Planning Commission, which makes a final decision on the application to amend land use policy. Thank you for taking the time to review this presentation and learn more about long-range planning in Nashville. I hope this information has been helpful. Feel free to contact the Planning Customer Service Desk using the contact information on the screen. If you have questions, you can contact the Planning Customer Service Desk and they can address questions such as policy change applications, a zone change application, the planning process, or if you want to inquire about how a property can develop. Thank you.